Kia ora and welcome along to Friday's look at the weather from us here at Met Service. Well, we start things off pretty nicely. High pressure sits over us and we've got plenty of clear sky and settled weather across both islands. However, you can see out towards the far west there, the next area of cloud is set to move back towards us, and we are going to find the weather goes downhill as we head through in towards the weekend. But for the rest of Friday afternoon, there's plenty of clear sky, nice settled weather, a good clear cold night in store as we head through in towards the early hours of Saturday. But your eye can't escape but to notice that area of blue out towards the Tasman Sea. Some heavier rainfall on its way towards us and some stronger winds as well. So we have got some severe weather watches and warnings to watch out for as we head through Saturday. You can see that core of stronger winds around that western coast of the South Island really increasing as we head through the nighttime, and that rain edging closer. But for many of us, the nighttime itself looks to be staying just about dry, but still pretty cold as well, especially across those central parts of the North Island. Temperatures back down below freezing, and a similar kind of idea down towards central parts of Canterbury. There's more cloud on the western side for, say, that western coast and up towards the far northern parts of Northland. But I think if you get those clear skies tonight and those lighter winds, it will be a chilly start today on Saturday. Now watch as we go through Saturday. That next area of rain continues to feed through. That low pressure brings that heavy rainfall towards the western coast, and we will find perhaps some thunderstorms in behind that as well. You can also see by the end of the day, the rain runs across the North Island. Some heavy falls of rain to watch out for, especially down those ranges of Westland. Also perhaps in towards those northern parts of the South Island, places like the western part of the Tasman district, west of Motueka, and in towards places like Mount Taranaki, Taranaki Monga, and the central high country. Some heavy rainfall for you as we head through the next few days. And in fact, we have got some severe weather watches and warnings in place. Now, there are warnings for wind around the coastal parts of Fjorden as those northeasterlies just squeeze down that coast. Really strong winds, gusts perhaps 130 kilometres an hour, but we've also got watches for wind across those central parts of the South Island, even in towards parts of Canterbury in the afternoon as those winds turn northwesterly. But again, gusts 80, 90, 100 kilometres an hour, not out of the question in those areas where we've got those watches. Some rainfall watches as well for the likes of Bulla and the western part of Tasman. Also a rainfall watch for that central high country of the North Island as we head through the nighttime Saturday into Sunday. More information about those on the Met Service website, or check out our severe weather video. But we are looking at a pretty wet end today on Saturday across the North Island. We start off with the best of the weather around this eastern coast, but you can see even here the cloud thickens up as we head through daytime. Rain starts to move in towards, say, Northern, Taranaki, and eventually in towards the central high country through daytime. Also start to find some wetter weather pushing in towards the Bay of Plenty by the end of the day, and down towards the Kapiti Coast and Wellington. You can see as well those darker blues showing those heavier areas of rainfall. So something to watch out for, particularly about the higher parts, so in towards the Monga and also in towards places like the Taurua Range by the end of the day. The eastern coast, well, you're in the best spot, looking to stay just about dry through the daytime, but even here, I think that cloud will thicken up as we head through towards the night. Now the bonus of this cloudy, windy, wet weather through the nighttime will be our nighttime temperatures. Daytime highs, fairly similar to what we've been used to, 16s and 17s perhaps in the best of the sunshine for Hawke's Bay and Tairāwhiti Gisborne. But look at those nighttime temperatures. Remember, say places like Whakatane down to around about 1 degree Celsius overnight Friday into Saturday. Overnight Saturday into Sunday, you're looking at temperatures down to around about 10 degrees, a real change because of those really changeable conditions through the weekend. For the South Island, there's more of the same, that wet weather feeding in from the west. Heavy falls on that western coast, especially in towards the ranges of Westland, and that's core of strong northeasterly winds as well. Now, as we head through the daytime, that rain will turn more showery, but still pretty intense as we head through the afternoon. Could be some thunderstorms running up that coast, so well worth keeping an eye on the forecast. You see we've got that stronger northerly wind around the likes of Banks Peninsula. Gusts here, perhaps 90 to 100 kilometres an hour, those kind of figures. But I think we are going to find the winds turning more northwesterly in the Canterbury high country through the afternoon, and they're going to be pretty strong as we head through in towards the early hours of Sunday morning. And again, gusts there, 100 kilometres an hour, not out of the question as we head through the night time. Down south, we've got that wetter weather in towards Fjorden, but I think a bit of patchy cloud through most of south, and generally, though, not a bad story. We should find this thickening cloud might bring a few spots of rain on that eastern side, but generally the wettest weather on the west, but on the east, we could find those winds picking up later on. In terms of our temperatures, again, with a fair bit of cloud and wet, windy weather as we head through the nighttime, not nearly as cold overnight Saturday into Sunday as we'll see during the nighttime Friday night into Saturday. So I think that is a bit of a benefit, but I think our daytime temperature is still 12s and 13s, perhaps 14 or so as we head up in towards Marlborough. Now for Sunday, that wet weather continues to move across the Northland. Look at some heavy falls in towards that central high country, place like the Tongariro National Park, in towards Taihape, but also the Bay of Plenty. You can see eventually the system does start to pull away, so it's an improving story down south. We get this next front running up from the south of the country, so again, still some snowfall over those higher parts of Southland and Otago. Keep an eye on this area of low pressure up towards the far northern parts of the country. Now the whole thing is gradually shifting eastwards, but as it sits off the eastern side, it could still bring some stronger winds around that eastern side of the Northland, and perhaps still some of that wet weather as well as we head in towards the start of next week. But generally, high pressure is building across, so things are looking much more settled for next week. But to get there, we've got rather a wet and windy weekend in store. That's it from me. This is from metservice.com.